Amy, let me tell you about a magical place that is so exactly designed to be enclosed space, year-round fun for the whole family that I bet you already know what I'm going to say before I even say the name. Let's say it together on 3. 1, 2, 3. Great Wolf Lodge. You got it, Amy.
My kids loved Great Wolf Lodge when we went. You probably already know that it has a huge indoor water park with a wave pool, lazy river, a bunch of massive water slides. But then your pack can hit the other attractions because, wait, there's more.
Great Wolf Lodge has adventure-packed attractions like Magi Quest, a live-action game kids can play throughout the lodge, plus the Northern Lights Arcade. Spent some quality time there, so your kid who loves the lazy river and your kid who loves fantasy games will both have a great time.
Great Wolf Lodge also offers great dining options and complimentary daily events like nightly dance parties, all under one roof. Unpack the car once and you're settled in to have fun. And with 22 lodges across the country, you're always a short drive away from adventure.
We've both had such great times at Great Wolf Lodge, so bring your pack together at a lodge near you. Learn more at greatwolf.com and strengthen the pack. Welcome to Ask Margaret from What Fresh Hell, laughing in the face of motherhood, solving your parenting dilemmas one question at a time. Today's question comes from our Facebook page, and it says, how do I navigate differences of opinion on parenting situations? There are a lot of hills my husband is willing to die on. I have a difference of opinion on importance, so then he gets frustrated with me. And we had a bunch of replies that said, agree with this one. Huge issue in our house. So we have tackled this in a bunch of our episodes, but I thought it was probably time, reflecting on my own life, for a little refresher course in this. We have done some episodes. One is parenting as a team. One is making it work for the long haul. And another is this battle worth fighting, that all touch on these issues. But I'm going to review a couple of things that can really help us in this. One of the things we talk about a lot, which is a system that was developed by Nick North of wearethenorths.com. And it's to give things a ranking system. I pushed back on this a lot when I first heard about it because I was like, I cannot do one more thing and it sounds really goofy, but I actually have started using it with my spouse and it is helpful, which is to say, I really don't want the kids to watch TV before school, and it's like a 9 for me on a scale of 1 to 10. I really don't want the kids to have sugary cereals in the morning, and that's like a 2 for me. And that if your spouse can speak to you in the same way, I think what happens is we kind of come in at the same levels on a lot of the battles that we have with our spouses. Like, and I don't want him to wear his shoes in the house, and you're feeding him sugary cereals in the morning, and you're this, and you're that. And that if we can kind of rank things for each other, and this is easiest to do when we talk about these during calm times. So I think one of the biggest things to do is talk about these things when we're not upset about them. So while we're having dinner, we're saying things like, you know, I've noticed that I'm really having a really hard time getting the kids out to school in the morning, and therefore I really want them to stop doing screens. It's really like a 9 to me in importance. And work together. We are solving a problem together versus you have this idea, which is making my life more difficult. This also really works well in our initial example, which is like the husband who takes things too seriously. And this is a watch your story moment. My husband overreacts to everything. Probably your husband is stricter than you are, but this is where our number system can really help, because we're going to start to say like, okay, we have really different set points about our rules. I want a kind of loose, chill house, and you want everything done exactly as so. So in a calm moment, let's try to talk through the things. You can even keep a list while he's not looking. I wouldn't read it back to him and be like, here's my list. But I would say, I noticed that you don't like the yelling. You don't like the this. You don't like the dirty shoes. You don't like the kids leaving their stuff around. But I think if we try to fight every battle, we're just kind of in conflict all day in the house. So let's figure out if we can rank these things in terms of how important they are to us getting through the day, and have a conversation about it. Listen, as I always say, like I'm going to say, well, let's teach our kids this. They're not going to be like, yes, darling mother, thank you for that insight. They're going to be like, that sounds dumb. And your spouse may also do the same thing. But a little bit of context in how we talk about, I feel for me that we're spending too much of the day in conflict with the kids. Can we rank the things that are important to us so our relationship with our kids isn't devolving into stop doing that, stop doing that, stop doing that, stop doing that? That's bad. Clean that up. And can we find a little bit more breathing room? I think my mom was a family therapist. You start with your I statements. It's kind of stressing me out how much time it seems that we are in conflict with the kids. Can we figure out if there are things that we can and cannot let go of within that universe so that we are not constantly in super crisis about this? And then another rule of thumb that we use, that Empowered Parents has the same rule. Try to defer to the one who feels more strongly about an issue. This is something that we say all the time, but this goes back to our ranking system because a very tight set parent may say, I feel strongly about everything. That's not allowed. And that's another reason I feel like the ranking system clarifies this rule a little bit. You have to rank how much you care about this stuff from 1 to 10, and you can't have 7 9s, and I can't have 7 3s, because that means that your rules and structure are just kind of dominating the house, and I'm living in a situation that I don't feel comfortable in. And so if you can talk more specifically with your spouse about, I really feel strongly about this, and I would like your support on this, and probably, you know, if your spouse is rigid, they're feeling that way about certain things. And then you can also say, I am absolutely willing to support you on the most important things to you, but I don't want to support you on 100 things. So let's sit down and figure out which one of these things actually matter in our home day to day and which ones are just making me crazy. I hope that helps. Go check out our many episodes on this topic. There's a lot to dive into, but hopefully that little ranking system will just give you that little edge into figuring this one out. If you have a question for myself or Amy, send them to questions@whatfreshhellpodcast.com, or you can ask them on our Facebook page at What Fresh Hellcast. Thanks for listening.
Starting a business can seem like a daunting task, unless you have a partner like Shopify. They have the tools you need to start and grow your business. From designing a website to marketing to selling and beyond, Shopify can help with everything you need. There's a reason millions of companies like Mattel, Heinz, and Allbirds continue to trust and use them. With Shopify on your side, turn your big business idea into... Sign up for your $1 per month trial at shopify.com/special offer.